a Hardcore Grind interview with writer, author, producer, and filmmaker, Briana Cole. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You know what? I always appreciate when I'm able to interview you because I know you are always super busy. Whenever I ask, you are always there, and I appreciate that.
Of course, anything for you, honey. And then I just love when we chat. It's always so much fun and engaging, so I look forward to it.
So, go moment, right? So go moment is really when thought and execution comes together. And even though we have multiple go moments in our lives, most of the time we're mindful about what other people do, how they move, how they do for themselves, how they pour into themselves. And when it comes to the movements that we should be making, we deal in fear and lack a lot of times. We can't move because somebody else got to be straight, or we just not sure if that's going to be the right move. What was the moment that shaped your decision to start writing?
Oh, goodness. That moment for me, I mean, girl, I have been writing since I was a kid. I've always loved to create, and I think it came from my passion for reading. And I want to say that's where it started. I grew up on the likes of some of my favorites like V.C. Andrews, Kimber Lawson Roby, Victoria Christopher Murray, Nora Roberts, Terry McMillan, and I'm watching and reading and looking at all these amazing stories coming to life, and it just kind of started, my gears grinding, if you will. And I said, I knew I wanted to be a writer. Like, I knew I wanted to create worlds and tell stories. Like, it's always been in me. Now, mind you, it took me a while to find myself on what kind of stories and how I wanted to, use my craft in the literary world. But girl, I have to say, I'm one of those. I knew I was going to be a writer when I was like 6 years old. 6 years old, I knew. I was like, I have to. When it's in you, it's in you. So yeah, that was it for me.
Absolutely. Now, where do you find your most creative moments, or what environment brings those moments? And then how do you cultivate them?
Anything by water. I am water. I am a water baby. That is me. I thought I was a mermaid in another life. Like, I love to be by the water. So if I need some inspiration, those moments that really, bring out like a cleansing so I can kind of refresh and feel invigorated, I get by water, a body of water of some sort, whether that's a cruise, whether that's to my mother-in-law's house by the lake or by the pool. It's something about being just, I don't know, by water that I feel like I make my best ideas. And then, when I get that, I'm writing all the time as far as different ideas and nuggets and things that come to me. So I'm usually on my phone, and I'll just, if I get that little spark of inspiration, I'm hurrying up trying to write it down on my phone, or type it up and email it to myself so that I can always have that and reference it later. But inspiration hits at just the weirdest moments. You'll wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, that was a good idea. Or when you're watching a show or something you may have overheard in the mall, things like that. So for me, I'm always, whether I want to or not, my creative mind, I think, is always on and listening, not even when I'm intending or hunting for ideas, but they'll just come to you because of something someone has said. And I'm like, ooh, that would make a good story. So I'm jotting that down. So, yeah, but for me, like I said, I feel like my best moments, or when I really feel kind of lethargic, kind of overwhelmed, like I really need just some kisses of inspiration, I try to see how I can navigate to some kind of body of water. So
I love it. I love it. Now, a Black woman who can write is powerful. What does that power mean
Hmm.
to you?
That power means to me that we are taking and owning our own voices, our own narratives, and shaping our stories and defining our moments in the way that appeals and relates to us. So that is a type of power. It's nothing like a Black woman, I tell you. So to be able to harness that power and channeling it into creative outlets, it's not necessarily always writing. It's whatever outlet that is, whether that's a creative venture or a service or a product or any type of, outlet that is, that in itself is a powerful thing, and it's a tool that is in our arsenal. It's like our superpower. So I love being a Black woman. Like, I love it. Just our stories and our moments in history and throughout, as far as how we have shaped our narrative, and we have defined history in the most epic of ways. Whether that's on our own or just being that support for the Black man and the foundation for families and households and generations. All of that is powerful. So those stories are ingrained in us. That is within us. So I love being able to do my part on sharing that power with the world, and kind of harnessing it and using it as a nice tool in my own arsenal.
I love it. I love it. Now, what inspires you to create your dynamic books and movies?
Oh my goodness. I think what inspires me is just life. Anyone who knows me knows that I have gone through a few mental challenges and things of that nature, especially dealing with my sister who passed away a few years ago, things like that. We all have those moments, the catalysts that kind of, put you on different paths within your life. We all have our journeys, right? And I think for me, my inspiration comes from my own journey. And again, knowing that I'm the only one to tell those stories. No one, I can't expect anyone to duplicate what I do and my voice and how I do things. So I think I am inspired by just a drive to live for others, like my sister who's no longer here, and to leave that legacy for my friends and my family and my children, and have those lasting impressions, because I've always been, I guess, just motivated with the fact that, well, if I don't tell it, it won't get told. It won't live. It won't breathe. It won't be there if I don't get it out. So I'm always, looking to leave that legacy and that impression on just generations to come.
I love that.
Yes.
Now, what do you admire the most about your writing style?
Oh, what do I admire most? I think probably my ability to write cinematically, to really, and I think that may come from, I'm an actress as well, and I think that may come from just my experience and my talent with the acting world. So when I'm writing, it's easy for me to bring these characters to life. So when you're reading my books, or even when you're reading my scripts, it's easy to really be able to pick these characters out and to hear their voices and to, watch them and really go with that development. That comes naturally for me. I think too, because I enjoy people. I enjoy just the nuances of people and the different things that make us tick and things like that has always been very fascinating. So again, I like to channel all of that when I'm writing, and I find that for me, creating characters is one of the easiest things. Characters, and thereby extension dialogue, the way they talk, it's natural for me, and I love that. I have my weaknesses, but that is definitely, I think, one of my strengths, and I lean into that. It makes it a lot of fun, building worlds and characters around these people who are talking in my head. So
I love it. Now you transitioned from books into acting and now filmmaking. What motivated those changes?
As I said before, when I was younger, I knew I wanted to write, but I didn't know what I wanted to write. I didn't know, how, if it was going to be in the, at one point I thought I was going to be a magazine editor, and I thought I was going to work for a newspaper, and I thought I was going to, like I said, I had I was going to start a greeting card business, which I did the whole in high school. So I really experimenting with, what sparked my fire. What did I enjoy the most? And that's when I landed on books initially. So I published my first book in 2014. So it's been 10 years now as a published author. Since then, I've published 10 books, a number of short stories and things in anthologies, all that good stuff. And up to that point, up to recently, I thought that was going to be the end all be all. I thought, okay, this is where I'm going to be, and it's going to be an author, hit New York Times, and just, ride on off until the sunset. I thought that was it for me. But about 4 to 5 years ago, I kind of got a little taste of the movie world when I was asked to write a script for one of my books. It was for a book trailer. My agent thought it would be a great idea to film a book trailer, almost like a movie trailer, but for my book. And I kind of was like, okay, I didn't think anything about it. But when I sat down and I wrote the script, mind you, it wasn't good. It was my first script, but that sparked a different type of flame within me, like, hey, this is kind of fun. And then when I started practicing more and writing more scripts and really immersing myself in the industry and researching and reading other scripts, it just lit that fire in me, like, wow, this is really, really awesome. And when I saw my first credit on a TV written by Briana Cole, and I'm hearing actors reading, and acting out my lines that I've written, I don't know, it's just a different type of, it just was so surreal. And I was like, oh yeah, this may be where I need to be. So the way I see it, it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. I'm not saying I won't ever write books anymore, but I was like, getting into the movie space, that allowed me to, I don't know, marry both of my passions of writing and acting. I can kind of have like the best of both worlds, if you will, by writing stuff that I can act in, and stuff that other people can act in. So again, it was kind of presented to me, and I had never considered it, but boy, once I did, it was no turning back after that. I was like, this is where I need to be. Oh my goodness. And I just love it, love it, love it.
Absolutely. Now, what are your top 5 essential needs in creating a dynamic brand?
My essential needs. Oh, goodness. Oh, you asked the good questions. I love it. You asked the good questions. My top 5 essential needs in creating a dynamic brand. I think you need, for me, the creativity, if we're going on, like the non-tangible aspect, the creativity, I need that. I think the ability to talk and network, my gosh, the networking has been instrumental for me and has helped me shape my brand and get in front of the right people to power me forward and, kind of equip me with different things that I need to expand with exposure. So I say creativity, the ability to talk and network. Definitely just I guess it kind of is on the same breath of creativity, that drive and that mindset of being able to, again, go for it. Like, I guess I do have a fear of failure like everybody else, but my motivation to succeed eclipses that fear of failure. So I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, what if I fail? What if they say no? What if they say no? But what if they say yes, though? And I think that kind of supersedes the what if they say no. So it pushes me outside of my comfort zone, which is another one, the ability to step out of your comfort zone, get out of that box. And, and again, take those risks, that kind of stuff. So those to me are essential to creating the brand and shaping your trajectory, whatever that looks like for you. Like I said, that creativity and innovation, thinking outside of the box, taking those risks, networking, all of those are, to me, essential to really take you where you want to go. And, and it's definitely out there for those who are willing to take it.
I love it. Now, your movie, The Marriage Pass, which has been released on Tubi. What was the inspiration behind the movie, making that a movie, and how did the opportunity come about?
Yeah, well, great question. Well, those who know me know that it is based on a book. Others who have just been, just found me, if you will, with the success of The Marriage Pass didn't realize it was a book until I started sharing it. But, The Marriage Pass was originally started out as a short story that I wrote and self-published in 2016 called The Night Before Christmas. And same concept, but only it was a novella. It wasn't quite a short story. It was actually a little bit longer. It was a novella, but it wasn't a full-length novel. But it was just something that I put out so that I could. I was between books at that point. I wasn't going to publish another one just yet. I think I had published 2 at that period of time. But I knew, okay, I need to kind of keep the momentum going, keep it fresh, give people something new. And I thought that would be a great idea to just self-publish it, nice little Christmas, spicy read, and boom, there you go. So I did. I self-published that in December I think it was December 1st, actually, of 2016. And it hit Amazon bestseller. Again, it was widely received. It was great. It was, very good for what I did for self-publishing. I was very, very proud of it. Well, then when I got on with my traditional publisher, Kensington Defina Books, they, my amazing agent, Entice, she overheard me talking about The Night Before Christmas with a reader at a book signing. And she was like, why didn't you tell me you had this book out? Like, I like that idea. I think that's a phenomenal concept. We should pitch it to your publisher and see what they think. And I was like, okay. So we pitched it. They loved it. So I took down The Night Before Christmas. We changed it to The Marriage Pass, fleshed it out into a full book, changed the character names, kept the same premise. We took out the Christmas element, fluffed it up a little bit, all that good stuff, but still the same premise. And we published that in 2021. Well, now fast forward, at this point, I'm kind of experimenting with writing scripts within types. We're doing, I think we had put out another movie, Gutter Mommies. I was a co-writer on that, just with her. And she was the one that came to me and said, that was one of your most popular books. Have you ever thought about that being a movie? And I said, no, I hadn't, but now I was on board with it. So she was the one that told me to write that script, and I did. I wrote that script, and we pitched it to a producer, to several producers. And the ones that picked it up was, that particular producer that, had a collaboration with Tubi and Tubi Originals, and they loved it. They loved it. I mean, they loved it from the time that I pitched it to them. I want to say less than a month later, I hadn't even signed the contract yet. Like, the ink wasn't even dry. They were already in Canada filming it. Like, they really, really loved that story, and it moved fast. So they filmed that in Canada in October of 2023. And then it was released in January of this year. So, yeah, that was a whirlwind. I never would have foreseen that that would happen that fast. But, oh, my gosh, it was such an amazing story. Like I said, that was my book. That was the one that had went viral. It was all over Shade Room, all over TikTok. It was a popular book. But yeah, my agent was the one that said, "Have you considered?" And I hadn't. But when she did, I was like, "Uh-oh, you done started something now," because now I'm thinking about it. And yeah, it is so amazing to see that movie. I still watch it to this day often because I just love the story. I love the characters. I love the way it was shot. Everything was just perfect for that particular movie. And yeah, and it's yeah, that's one of my most proudest moments there.
I love it. I love it. Now, you recently did a creative workshop. Tell us a little bit
hmm
about that.
Well, the creative workshop was by popular demand because on the success of the marriage pass, and then right after that, I had the same producers produce another movie that I wrote called Played and Betrayed. I have three more movies coming out, two more in November, one in February of 2025, and they saw, and I had a lot of, I guess, milestones and success of 2024, especially with the movie releases. I was on a billboard in Times Square, which back in, I think that was, Super Bowl weekend, so back in February. And it just was a lot of great things going on. So I had a lot of people DMing me about, how did you do this? How did you do that? How did that work? Like really, championing me and motivating and inspiring me and, really rallying and, clapping for me. And so I said, okay, I think this will be a great way to kind of share and impart some of these nuggets that I've learned on my own, trial and error, because I'm self-taught. I taught myself all of this with just reading scripts and workshops and really in YouTube and really practicing and everything. And I thought that would be a great way to, kind of share some of these gems, especially with everybody asking me a lot. So I was like, okay. So I hosted my very first creative workshop. It sold out. I kept it like small as far as the number of participants because I wanted it quaint and intimate so we can have a nice little vibe and it's engaging. So yeah, and we did a Zoom. It was supposed to be, girl, it was supposed to be an hour and a half. That was a 3-hour workshop because as you can see here, I love to run my mouth. Like I don't shut up. So, and it was just a lot of information. Like they were vibing and I was very happy to share. Let me tell y'all what worked. And it was relatable and it was authentic and I don't know, it was great. So I really enjoyed being able to do that and just others in the creative space. And as far as I know, it was very well received. We all had a great time. And, the participants walked away with having learned some things about not just my writing process, but different things I learned along the way with writing in general when it comes to the screenwriting world, producing, finding agents and managers and things like that. So, yeah, it was great. It was great.
I love it. Now, Toxic Harmony. Tell us about that project.
Okay, so Toxic Harmony, oh goodness. So not only do I sell my scripts and stuff that I've written, but I've been brought on several times as a screenwriter for projects that a producer may have an idea, whether that's Lifetime or Tubi or Hallmark, they have an idea and they'll bring a writer like me on to write the script. And that's what they did with Toxic Harmony. So Toxic Harmony, I remember that was back in, I want to say April. And I had such a good rapport with Tubi and these producers who had produced The Marriage Pass and Played and Betrayed. They called me up and they said, Bree, we have an idea for a movie, and we had another writer on board. It's we kind of have to do a lot of massaging with it. We want to bring you on board to rewrite the script and kind of give us what we're looking for because they had their notes and ideas of where they wanted the script to go. So no, it was not my original idea. I was just brought on to write it. So they told me that, and they said, oh, and by the way, you have a week. And I was like, what? A week? week to write an entire script. I had never worked that fast. I don't even think I slept for that week. I'm telling you, it was insane. I was on vacation at the time with my family. I was like trying to juggle with the vacation time and writing and the vacation time, and then on the phone with the producers to make sure I got all the notes to give them what they needed, because they were already moving to cameras up. Like, they had already had the cast and everything, and they were trying to start filming, but they didn't have a script. So that's when I came on board, wrote that script, turned it around in a week, had to do some additional edits and things like that to get them what they needed. And, they jumped right into filming that, and they were very, very happy with the result. So that one will be out November the 22nd as a to-be original. And that one is about a young lady who she kind of breaks away from a girl group, and she gets involved with this executive producer who has some sinister motives. Let's say that.
Oh, okay. Now, what has been the biggest challenge that you faced switching from books to movies?
The biggest challenge that I have faced, well, I've seen, especially when I'm adapting my books, and I've adapted stuff for other people. I've adapted a TV series for another producer, from a book. Of course, I've adapted my own work, like The Marriage Past. And I think, to me, it's challenging because you have, let's say, for example, The Marriage Past, this 300-page book that you have to put into basically a 90-minute movie, which is about 90 pages. In the industry, roughly a page is about a minute. A page of script is about a minute in the movie. And really trying to scale that down to determine what you need, what you don't need, because you can't include everything. So it's really trying to get to the bare bones and keep the essence of the story, but having to kind of reprogram your mind on how to tell it. Because in the book world, right, it's through the literary medium. So you have to paint that picture through your words, right? But in the movie, well, the old saying is true. A picture is really worth 1,000 words. So whereas you may take a few paragraphs to paint that picture and set the mood and set the tone of this character or the setting or something, well, you can get that same effect through a couple of seconds of a camera panning across the set, or a location, or the first word the character says, that kind of stuff. So it's really trying to, like I say, reframe your way of thinking to, okay, I don't need all this stuff. I want it, but I don't need all this stuff to be able to effectively tell a story. So it's helped me to write more succinctly and to really get the point across in as few pages as possible. Now, I can't say that with my talking because I'm very long-winded with talking. But in my writing, it has helped me, I think, be an even stronger writer because I know you have a limited amount of time to get the point across. You can't just, really make it flowery and this, that, and the other and heavy. You got to get to it and get to it with a punch because you are in a movie, you're competing with so many other dynamics. Children, people's phones, they're on their phones, right, and watching movies, or they're doing dishes and watching the movie and washing clothes. You're competing with that other shows and stuff that they could be on. If you don't catch their interest and keep their interest, they turning it off or turning the channel, or they're on their phone, they look up movie off, they don't know what it was about. So you have a lot on your shoulders trying to, come in, hit the ground running, make it strong, keep their attention, hold it, keep it to the very, very end. And then at the end, leave them wanting more. So it's a lot that I've had to kind of, really figure out and then still figuring out how to do it effectively and consistently.
I love it. Now you've been blowing it up on Tubi. You keep those readers engaged in the book. However, acting buzz has trickled down in the family. Your son is in the treasure trackers. How excited are you?
Oh, my goodness. I am so unbelievably proud of this young man. I don't know what to do. All my children, of course, everybody's got their own talents. I got my baby, of course. I got my middle child. He's my band. He had his at 13, he was the youngest one to go out to an HBCU and perform in their marching band and stuff at a college. So I'm proud of him too. Like I said, all of my children, absolutely. And then my oldest one, like he took. I guess, followed directly in my footsteps, and I can't be mad at it, And he told me that he wanted to act. And I want to say his first thing was he was Prince Charming in the school play when he was in like elementary school, like fourth grade. And from there, we have been, getting him his auditions. We got him a manager and agent, really getting him out there, getting him workshops, honing in and perfecting his craft. He has that natural raw talent, but, we're fine-tuning it, getting it where it needs to go. And oh my goodness, he booked treasure trackers. I remember I had just came back from Spain. It was literally the last day the audition had to be in, and I didn't think we were going to get it in time. I was like, well, I just got off the plane, 10-hour flight. It's late. I'm tired. He's tired. Like, we're not going to do this. But we barreled through it. He's like, no, Mom, we can do it. We got it out there. We sent it in. They called us back. They loved him. They booked him. And we went out to Tennessee and filmed for a month and met some amazing cast and crew, absolutely the best time. And that was one of his first big roles. He's done, he was a guest star on Atlanta, with Donald Glover. He was a guest star on I Got a Story to Tell on BT Plus. He was a guest star on Woke. So he's done some small things on TV shows, right? But this was his first big role. He was one of the stars. There's 3 leads, and he was one of them. And we filmed that. Now, mind you, that was 2.5 years ago. So the movie just released yesterday, actually. It just released on Amazon and Apple TV and Fandango. And, oh, my goodness, just to watch him. Well, for one, so much has changed. Puberty. I mean, he hit puberty, so he grew up. He grew taller, got the mustache, grew out his hair, deep voice. But I look back and I look at that movie, and we went to a red carpet premiere a few weeks ago, and he's done this press run with these interviews and stuff, and it's just been so amazing. When I say I'm just over the moon excited for him and everything that's going to open with these doors, with these opportunities, but to really see it all come to life, it's proud mama moment. Definitely a proud mama moment. I just love it. And it's so good. It's such a great family-friendly movie. It's like the Halloween version of the Goonies. It's great. It's got adventure. It's got comedy. It's just great. It's just a wonderful movie.
I love it. So you got movies, you got books.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? What can people expect from Briana Cole going into 2025?
Going into 2025, like I said, 2024, we had a lot going on, and I'm super proud of all my accomplishments. But going into 2025, I have even more in store, and as I say, bigger and better. I'm always competing with myself from yesterday. So I have some things in the works. Stopping some things around for Lifetime, for Hallmark, for Netflix, and I will be entering a few contests, one of them to see if I have a script that may qualify for the Oscars, so for the Academy Award, so I'll be looking to get some more accolades under my belt, like I said, and I think I foresee even more, coming through your screen with the Briana Cole signature, the Briana Cole written by credit on it, just across multiple platforms. Tubi, of course, Tubi Originals, but I'm going even broader than that. I'm looking to be everywhere. I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking to be everywhere. like I said, even this year, All Black came out season 2, which I was a staff writer on. Had an amazing time in the writer's room. So I plan on getting into another writer's room next year. And so I got me an agent. He's been amazing with solidifying a lot of opportunities, networking and otherwise. And yeah, I will be doing more consulting too and mentorships. So again, just not only, just taking what I learned and sharing that with others too as I continue to grow and expand and succeed.
I love it. I love it. Well, I so appreciate you sharing your time, space, and energy with me. I want you to shout out all your social media. Also give another reminder of the movies that you have available and where people can find them, and your latest book that you want people to go check out.
Absolutely. So again, I thank you. I thank you for the opportunity. I always appreciate you inviting me on to chat with you. Thank you so much. But yeah, Briana Cole, I am across all social media platforms at Briana Cole Official. That's at BrianaCole Official. I'm even on TikTok at Briana Cole 3, the number 3. And I'm pretty active on TikTok now since a lot of my posts have been going viral and stuff. I'm like, okay, I like TikTok now. I'm getting the hang of it. So, but yeah, I mainly focus TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I do have my X account. Used to be Twitter at Briana Cole Official as well, but I'm not quite as heavy on X as I am on the other platforms. Then, of course, I have my website, BrianaCole.com, where you can see everything that I got going on, including books, autographed books, book me for speaking engagements, or different things like that. And let's see. Oh, my other things in the works that I've got coming up, I'm going to be in Nashville for Writer Fest. I have a panel in November. I will be teaching a master class through a boot camp in October, one day in October, one day in November, one day in December. We're finalizing the details on that. You'll be able to see that information on my website and, of course, on my social media as well, where I'll be talking about it. Lastly, the movies that I have, of course, The Marriage Pass is a Tubi original on Tubi right now. The Marriage Pass, based on my book of the same name. So feel free to watch the movie, read the book, compare. Tell me which one you like better. Played and Betrayed is also streaming as a Tubi original on Tubi. The 3 movies that I have coming up, Toxic Harmony will be released November the 22nd as a Tubi original. Sugar Mama will be released also in November as a Tubi original. And then Ex Door Neighbor, a Tubi original, will be released in February of 2025. You can also check out some of my other movies available on Tubi and Peacock, including Gutter Mommies, Pseudo, that's Pseudo, Pseudo, Trap Soldiers, Dishonorable, as well as Season 2 of Lace, streaming on All Black. I was one of the staff writers. I got 4 episodes on there. So by all means, check out that amazing legal drama TV series. And the book, if I had to throw a book out there as far as I would love for you all to check out, it's not even my most recent book, but it is my absolute favorite, is Behind Her Lives. That's a psychological thriller. Behind Her Lives. It's about 2 sisters, and one of which she's being told that her sister has died of an overdose. But when she gets to the morgue, she realizes that that's not her sister, that person that's in the morgue. So she is kind of on this whirlwind to figure out what's going on, where is her sister, what happened, and it's so twisted. It's so twisted. So that is one, if you're looking for a good read, I recommend Behind Her Lives.
I love it. I love it. Well, I so appreciate you coming to kick it with me today. I will talk to you very soon.
All right. Thank you.